Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are discussing about auto scaling by using EC2 instances and user data, and also we have to taking as launch template, target groups, load balancers, and auto scaling. So let's get started. First of all I'm going to create as EC2 instance, launch instance. Here this is the dashboard of launch instance. I'm going to take as one name, webpack 1, and here I'm going to select as image and Linux, and here I'm going to select as image and mission images, image and Linux 2. Here I'm going to select as by default only T2 micro. Here I'm going to refresh and I'm checking, not there. I'm going to create a new key pair, web app 1, create. Here I'm going to take as network settings, edit. By default only I'm keeping as VPC, and here subnet as availability chart. So I'm going to select as 1A, and here I'm going to select as add security group. I'm attaching security group, that is HTTP, and here I'm going to select as anywhere. HTTP port number is 80. Rest of the I'm not changing. Here I'm going to select as advanced details. In this advanced details, any settings I'm not changing. Here I'm going to select as user data. In the user data I'm paste here. Sorry. Here I'm going to take as script, copy and paste it. I'm going to create a launch instance. Instance has been created successfully. Again, I'm going to take as one more instance. Here I'm taking as web app 2. Here I'm going to select as image on Linux. Here I'm going to taking as image on Linux 2. In instance type, I'm going to select as by default only. I'm select as T2 micro. Here I'm select as T2 micro. Here I'm going to select as web app 2 key pair, create, and edit the network settings. Here VPC is by default, and I'm selecting as 1B, and here I'm going to select as add security group. I'm taking as here HTTP, and here I'm going to take as anywhere. HTTP port number is 80. Rest of things I'm not going to change. Here I'm taking as advanced details. In this advanced details, I am giving as one script. In this script, I am going to change to web app to server. Let's create a launch. Let's create a launch instance. Instance has been created. Instance has been created successfully. Go to the instances and refresh. Here I am going to launch a template. Next step I'm going to, here this is the template, launch template by using auto scaling. So I'm going to take as launch template. This is the dashboard of launch template. Here I'm going to select as template name web app, and here I'm going to give as 0.1 V, And here I am going to select as auto scaling guidance, checkout, check-in, and provide guidance to help me set up a template that I can use with EC2 auto scaling. And here I am going to taking as currently in use, recently launched. I'm select as currently in use. Image and Linux. Here I am going to select as image and Linux 2. And here I am going to take as template T2 micro. Here I am going to create a new key pair, web app, and create. In network settings, I'm not selecting any network settings here. Let's create launch template. Here I'm going to advanced details. In these advanced details, I'm going to give as user data. In this user data, I'm going to give this user data. This user data I'm going to give. And here I'm change their clone. Again, I'm going to template notepad and copy their link, git link. And here I'm going to here I'm going to give paste it here, git clone. Here, this is the prerequisites like user data. What are the steps which you have implemented? That is, before I am giving sudo for every command. For every command, I am giving as sudo. Here, I am going to give sudo. Okay. And this is the prerequisites step-by-step format. So to update why to update the server, to install the HTTP, to enable the HTTP, and to start the HTTP service, and to install the Git, and to change it directly to the HTML, and that HTML to clone the repository and copy their website and remove their website and give their permissions to the Apache to the to this folder, and to modify to modify their permissions, and finally to restart their HTTP service. And finally, I'm going to create launch template. Template has been created successfully. So I'm going to auto scaling, create auto scaling group. I'm select as AST auto scaling group, and template web app. I'm going to select as one. Next. And I'm select as by default only VBC and availability zones by default. all the availability zones I'm going to select. And I'm keeping as availability zone distribution balanced best effect only. And next. And taking as attached to existing load balancer. I'm taking as load balancer. There is no there. Sorry for that. I'm going to create target groups. Sorry, target groups. I'm going to give the target groups. Select target group, create target group. By default only target group instances. And I am going to give target group is TG and HTTP, and the port number is by default only. IP address IPv4 only. VPC by default only. HTTP1 by default. I am going to go to the next, and here I am going to select as 2 included as pending below and create target group. Created has been created successfully. Target group has been successfully. Here I am going to give load balancers. Before that, I am going to give as auto scaling group. Create auto scaling group again. Here I am going to auto scaling group name is CSG, and I am select as template web app. I am going to select as 1. Next. Next. Here I am going to select as subnets all the availability zones I am going to select. I am going to here availability zone distribution I am going to by default only I am giving, and here I am going to next. Click the next. Here I am going to select as attach. I am going to select as target group. Rest of things I am not changing. Here I am going to give 5 minutes. Sorry, 30 seconds. Next. Decide capacity I am going to give 5. Minimum least number of instances I'm going to give as 2. Here I'm going to give as 6 maximum. Rest of things I'm not changing. I'm not taking any. Here I'm going to select as enable scaling protection to protect their servers, and monitoring I'm not selecting. Here I'm going to select as warm up. If you choose by default, if you are interested, please select this or nothing. Next. If you are interested to give the notifications by using email, you can select this by using simple notification service. Otherwise, you can skip. Next. And this also skip. Next. And review it. And then create auto scaling group. Okay. Let's go to the load balancers. In this load balancers, create load balancer. Here you have to create application load balancer. In this load balancer, you select as ALP. By default, only scheme is internet facing. Here load balancer IP address IPv4, and here by default only VPC. Here you have to select as 1A, 1B, and 1C. All the availability zones you have to choose as your wish. Here I am by default I'm going to select as 1, 2, and default or setting also I'm taking security group as your wish. Listeners I am going to by default only I'm giving as port number 80. Here I am going to select as TG target group. Rest of things I'm not going to select anything. Simply I'm going to create a load balancer. Load balancer has been created successfully. So refresh once. Here provisioning you have to see. So this load balancer will be updated within 2 minutes. Meanwhile, I am giving one thing, that is, so what is auto scaling? Why are it using auto scaling? So I'm going to brief about this auto scaling. What is auto scaling? Auto scaling is a service that automatically adjusts the number of Amazon EC2 instances. Amazon EC2 instances means servers in response to traffic or load conditions. It helps maintain performance, availability, and cost efficiency by scaling out and scaling in resources as needed. Means if you are adding or if you are removing the instances. Removing means failed instances. And what are the what are the components of auto scaling? Means launch template or launch configuration. Purpose: how to launch EC2 instance. It includes Amazon image, mission image AMI, instance type. Instance type means T2 micro, T2 medium, that like. Amazon mission image means all the operating all the operating missions like Amazon Linux to Ubuntu, Red Hat, that like Amazon Linux. And you have to create it new key pair, security groups like HTTP, HTTPS, that like IAM role, and user data. User data means basic script. And auto scaling group, a group of EC2 instances managed as a single unit, and it maintains the specified number of healthy instances. These are all the these are all the undergoes to auto scaling activities. Let's get refresh active. So I am going to select as DNS. This is I am going to select as copy, take a fresh browser, press tab and paste it here, enter. Here see, this is the final output of this is the final output of web server. Again I am going to refresh. See, this is the final output of web server. And for example, I am going to delete two instances. For example, I am going to delete two instances. Here one, two instances I am going to terminate. terminate the two instances. Has been successfully terminated. Again, I am going to check. Refresh. See, this is the final output of web server. I am going to select as two instances. I am going to remove the terminate the two instances. Finally, I am get final output of this web server. Again, I am going to terminate two servers. Instance state, select as terminate, successfully terminated. Refresh. Again, I am going to this server and refresh. See, this is the final output of server. This is the final output of server. Final output of web server. Again, I am going to terminate one server. Single server I am going to terminate. Again, terminate. Refresh. Again, I am going to check server, refresh their website. See, this is the final output of web server. Again, I am going to refresh. See, this is the final output of web server. This is the auto scaling. This is the final output of web server by using auto scaling and template, load application load balancer, target groups, and also auto scaling template. All are using to ensure their final output of the web server in this auto scaling. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. If any clarifications, please give me comment. Thank you.